Now, when you do the devil's tango with a significant other, there's usually the man's role and the woman's role. And of course, usually it's common for the man to have his role and the woman to have hers. But the real question is, when the roles reverse, is it normal? Well, today's story is about how a straight couple tried to do this. But basically, before we get into the story, make sure you guys do leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, because this story will get really insane. So just press the like button because it's totally free. And if you don't, I will do the devil's tango. But other than that, let's just get straight into this embarrassing story. Yo, what is going on, you guys? My name's Bubba and welcome back to a really embarrassing video. So today's video is honestly a really odd one, but I really wanted to tell this story because there was no way that I wasn't gonna tell my audience about this dude. Now, I just want to say before we actually full on get into this, if you are a man that enjoys getting it up I shouldn't have to explain it, but if you are a man that does enjoy that, please either seek help or be gay. I don't know. Can I like make fun of that? I don't want to get canceled. Okay, you know what? Never mind. Going on though. I remember the story all starts off back when I was in grade 10. Now in grade 10, I decided to take a class that was, at first I thought not for me, but to be honest, I ended up taking a class called theater because I had a really bad stutter back when I was younger in grade 10. So obviously for me to get rid of that, I thought theater would help, which I mean, it did. You guys can tell from these amazing videos I make, right? Okay, anyways, going on. I remember when I entered theater class, it was pretty awkward, I won't lie to you, and it was a really odd group of students in that class. And I still remember to this day how there were like stoners that couldn't register anything in their minds, apparently. Like it would take like literally 30 minutes for them just to think of a proper answer. And then obviously there was like that group of girls that were all really fruity and would randomly make out with each other, but at the same time still claim that they were straight. And then obviously there was like the normal group of kids where basically they just went in there because it was the easiest class to get extra credits on, and basically I guess kind of makes you grow up in a way and gain confidence, I guess. I don't know, that's at least what it did for me. I don't know about other students, and nor do I care because I'm not in high school anymore. I remember one time when I was in that class, I ended up making some friends with some people, and I remember one of the people that I ended up becoming friends with was one of the major stoners. Now he was a total stoner, but one thing I will say is that he was really kind of just like a redneck. So in a way, instead of like, you know, being just totally slow, he would talk about trucks, and sometimes he would mention some things that were pretty awkward. But I remember one time in theater class, he ended up looking at me saying, "Yo bro, I'm not gonna lie, that girl over there is actually kind of hot." Now, to be honest, I didn't really think like this girl was attractive. I thought she looked pretty mid, if I'm not gonna lie to you, but apparently this guy was really interested in her. So me being a total Rizzler, I decided to tell him like, yo, like straight up, like I'll wingman for you if you want, like just go for her. He ended up saying sure, why not? And then one thing led to another. He ended up, you know, basically going up to her and actually gaining confidence to talk to her. Now I won't lie, when this guy went to go talk to this girl seemed totally just like brain dead. Like I know that sounds mean to say, but she was pretty slow. To be honest, since he was a stoner and she was already slow, I mean, like it kind of just worked out over time. And one thing led to another. I want to say a couple weeks went by and then they actually ended up started dating. Now usually I don't believe in high school relationships, but honestly I will say this much: the first like couple months they seemed really happy. At first I was pretty jealous of their relationship. I thought things were going amazingly. I was actually like, you know, envying it, because obviously who doesn't want a good relationship? But anyways, from there their relationship seemed really good. But then I remember one time during theater class, it was like towards the end of it, and basically I was packing up my backpack getting ready for my next class, but then his girlfriend ends up walking into the room and looking at me saying, "Hey Bubba, I have a question." Yeah, what's up? "How long like have you known like my boyfriend for? I'm just generally curious." "I've known him like, you know, since the start of this year. Why, what's up?" "Oh, nothing. I just, you know, never mind." And she ended up walking away. Now it sounded like she wanted to tell me something that was going on, but she couldn't put herself to it, and it didn't make sense to me, but at the same time it was concerning. I didn't know what was going on. So I remember basically the next day when theater class came around, I ended up going up to my friend, the redneck that was my friend in a way, somehow. Let's just say I went up to her boyfriend and I ended up asking her. I ended up asking him saying, "Yo, so like, how are things going with you and your girl, you know?" He ended up saying how this girl was like totally normal other than her weird littlest pet shop addiction, but other than that, she was generally like a normal person. I found that hard to believe, but I mean, at the same time though, I'm not one to judge relationships. Like, you know, if that's the way they like things, then, you know, it is what it is. But now this is where the story gets really interesting. This relationship was so shocking because it ended up lasting for 3 whole years. So grade 10, grade 11, and grade 12. The grade 12 year, they were still together. And honestly, I will say this much. In my grade 12 year, other than stressing out and just banging chicks and making money, I was really shocked about how long the relationship lasted. Like, there was no way they were going to be high school sweethearts. But I remember one time, you know, basically I ended up becoming closer friends with him. And I'm gonna say this right now, for some reason, as the relationship went on, for some reason, the guy seemed really happy about the relationship, the redneck friend that I had, that seemed totally straight, by the way, but the girl seemed traumatized. Now, I didn't know why she was traumatized, but you could just see in her eyes that she was just not having it. Like, you know that look that girl has in her eyes where it just doesn't seem like she's actually doing okay, even though she fakes it all the time? Yeah, she was having one of those moments. Anyways, I remember one time around lunchtime, I ended up walking up to her and she wasn't with her boyfriend, and I just looked at her and said, hey, like, just be honest with me, are you doing all right? She ended up basically like kind of like shaking her head no, but saying yes at the same time. And if anyone's ever seen the show Lie to Me, that basically means you're lying. And I asked her straight up, I said, is everything all right? Is there something you want to tell me? And that's when she almost teared up and told me that her boyfriend was becoming her girlfriend. Now, you guys probably have no idea what I'm talking about when I say that, but basically, let's just say the troubles in bed that they were having, apparently he was a bottom and he would like, you know, you know, I don't know how far I can go with saying what was going on in their bed, but let's just say this much, it could get me demonetized. Now, at this point, I'm not gonna lie to you, I thought she was, you know, pulling my leg. I thought she was pranking me. I thought she was totally joking about it, but then afterwards, she ended up looking at me once again and said, I can get you proof. Now, when she said this, I'm like, bro, what do you mean proof? Like, guys, I'm not lying to you when I say this. He seemed super straight. Like, he seemed more straight than the average straight guy. Like, for God's sakes, he was a redneck. You don't see country rednecks out there being gay. Like, it just didn't make sense. Anyways, afterwards, when I asked her to send me proof, she ended up basically sending me a photo of him wearing a dress and makeup and a wig. Like, he went full on drag mode, okay? And then that's when I basically figured out that, you know, he was not straight, and I guess not straight anymore. Now, I didn't want to believe this, obviously, and to be honest, I thought this was like all just a prank on me. So I ended up basically that same day going up to him. I went up to him and I said, yo, bro, I have a question. He's like, yo, like, what's going on? I'm like, yo, have you ever worn a dress before? He ends up looking at me with his eyes wide open. He's like, oh, nah, that's weird, bro. Why would I do that? I don't know. I was just wondering. And that's when he ended up grabbing me by the shoulder that same lunchtime, and he ended up pulling me into the bathroom saying, yo, okay, what did my girlfriend tell you? What do you mean? What did your girlfriend tell me? And that's when he straight up told me, listen, Bubba, you don't understand. Like, it feels so good when it's in there. And I'm like, bro, what? Now, this was the most gayest thing I think I've ever heard. And I'm not gonna lie, like, I'm not homophobic, but this was gay. Okay, like, this was seriously gay. Because I remember he straight up was telling me about the sensation, about how he enjoyed it when he was getting tickled in the eggplant, I mean, Pete area. You know, I can't explain this without getting demonetized. This is such a hard story to tell. Honestly, it makes me disgusted I'm telling the story. And at that point, I remember I was so uncomfortable with like basically both of them, where I basically started avoiding both of them after that day, because there was no way like I was just gonna like I just couldn't see them the same anymore. Okay, I couldn't look at them the same way that I used to. I want to say another like couple months went by and their relationship was still going, and to be honest, I thought things were just gonna keep going and this girl was just gonna, you know, let the whole situation happen, and you know, she's just gonna enjoy doing the thing to him, you know what I mean, like doing that thing to him. But then I remembered I ended up hearing a rumor around the school that apparently this guy ended up cheating on her. Literally on her grade 12 year, this guy decided to cheat on her with a girl that was actually gay, if that makes any sense. She was lesbian or bi. I don't know the LG alphabet stuff. I really don't actually understand it or know it, but I will say this much. The moral of the story is, if you are straight, date straight people. If you are gay, date gay people. If you are bi, date bi people. That way the universe just kind of works the way it should. Anyways, guys, that is basically it for today's story. Make sure you guys do leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And like I always say, just follow for more embarrassing but yet really weird stories. Peace out, guys.